my name is Vaibhav. I'm the founder of Kikito and Co. Kikito and Co is a FinCommerce platform, and we are on a mission to create livelihood for all the underprivileged craftsmen in India. Craftsmen who are spread across tier 3, 4, 5 regions of India. दीप्ती मी तुला थोडं म्यूटवर टाकलंय कारण खूप मागे आवाज येतोय. Okay, so I was saying that craftsmen who usually come from tier 3, 4, 5 regions of India. The idea behind starting this platform was prior to that a quick background of what I've done so far. I come from a very strong sales and marketing background. I was working for Dentsu for some time. Prior to that, I was working for Accenture. I was working for Pubmatic, and I started my journey with Government of India. So it's been at about 7 to 8 years since I've been part of this digital ecosystem. During my last run, I had an opportunity to work with a lot of fintech platforms and a lot of e-commerce platforms for I think 3.5 years. I was heading sales for Southeast Asian markets, so I was fortunate enough, in fact, to meet a lot of good guys, good entrepreneurs, very visionary people who have got like very solid metal into them. So when I started this platform, this was the entire pedigree of sort of doing an amalgamation of fintech and e-commerce together, and not to do it for people who are already privileged or who are already exposed to the digital ecosystem. Let's do it for craftsmen who are not really exposed to the digital ecosystem as such. So historically, what we have seen is India is rich with art and culture, right? And if you see historical pattern in tier 3, 4, 5 regions of India, they have employment only for 3 to 4 months, because typically it rains for 3 to 4 months, right? So what do? They typically go and do farming in those 3 to 4 months. What do they do, during those 8 to 9 months? Do they wait to somebody, for someone to, come to them and provide them employment? No. So what they do, they make amazing products, and then they sell those products into the local market. Or what usually it works is an agent goes into tier 4, 5 region, buys those products in bulk, comes to the tier 1 and tier 2 city, and then sell those products at least 4x or 5x of the value. So the craftsmen do not ever get the right value of the product. So what we are doing is we are trying to bridge this complete gap by connecting the end buyer to the craftsman who has actually put in the effort to make those products which are completely handcrafted, products which are customized, biodegradable. That's how it works. Now, while we were scaling this for first 3 to 4 months, we also realized that there is a significant problem that these craftsmen face: the problem of lack of funds. So what happens is they sell those products, and then they realize that they don't have money to cater to the upcoming demand. So what we started doing, we integrated ourselves with Credi. Credi is a direct NBFC. They are allowed to give self-employed craftsman loan for a rate of interest of as minimum as 0.04% per month without any mortgage. So we started doing that. Then our craftsmen started getting funds. So we could now cater to the incremental demand. So how the ecosystem would typically work is, we sell the product through our integrated marketplace, which is a global marketplace. We are currently shipping to more than 7 to 8 countries at the moment. We also provide self-employed craftsman loan to those underprivileged craftsmen so that they can produce more and cater to the incremental demand, right? So this all has worked till January, till the lockdown, right? Prior to that, till I go further, I would also want to tell you that during this session, it's not only me that I'm going to talk. We also going to have a conversations to more than 3 to 4 people who have also done the same. Usually they were into online business or on offline business, and they immediately shifted their entire game into the teaching online or taking events online or conducting workshops online the moment lockdown was declared by the government. So we're going to do that. Pratik, very quickly, 2 lines about Co-Wonders. What do we expect from Co-Wonders, and what is so significant about it? Very quickly, 2 lines.
Yeah, definitely. So as Co-Wonders, we are a versatile co-working space and event space. So we currently have around 3 locations in Pune, given us 2 locations in Magarpatta and one of the locations in Viman Nagar.
Okay.
So we cater to different segments of the industries like big MNCs, SMEs, startups, consultants, and even artists. So we have an inclination towards managing and promoting events online as well as offline from our Magarpatta event space. So what
Okay.
I do,
Okay.
I mostly have my inclination into the sales and marketing side of the business.
Okay.
And as a co-working space, we provide every amenities that is been required by someone, with flexible timing, night shifts, and every
Correct.
other as well. Yeah,
Especially the timing. The timing is very significant that you're allowed to people work till 2 a.m., which is great.
that's correct. That's correct. We also we provide the, if also they require, we are very flexible with the timings, and
Correct.
according to their needs we cater, because we all understand someone, when we have to pull up our socks and go for the kill, then
Correct.
we shouldn't be bound by times there.
Perfect. Perfect. So, like I said, let's go and start with the implementation of how we implemented our online workshops. So we have 52 craftsmen who are part of Kikitu and Co's community, and all of them, they have different skill set. They have different expertise of in terms of the products that they make. So right from your home decor to your apparel to your organic products, stationery, your personal care to your accessories. So there are about 7 to 8 categories that we deal into, and all of the products are completely handcrafted by each and every craftsman. A craftsman who has been doing it for the last 3 years, for him to make a product, it takes immense amount of hard work and a lot of love that goes into making a product. So while we were designing our online workshop, we thought of the first thing, that who's our target persona that we are going to reach after. Now there were two options that we had. First was an adult, which essentially means a millennial, is what I think. Uh, Start from age group of 16 to 32, 33, and there was second group, which is kids as a category from age group 5 to 15. Now I'll tell you the difference. Someone who comes in the bracket of 18 years old to 35 years old will have a typical persona of either pursuing his masters or working at a corporate company, which means that he or she is currently working from home. That means that from 9 to 6, I mean 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., he or she doesn't really have time. So we have to manage those workshops post 6 p.m. on weekdays, or we have to manage those workshops over the weekend. Now there was second significant category which worked out really well for us, was kids as a category. Now, why did kids as a category work out for us? Because the schools are shut till 31st of May or 30th of May, and schools was the first thing that they started shutting off. Right now, a kid who's been used to go to a kindergarten, a kid who's been used to go to garden, meet his friends, has to stay home. Now parent has to do something to make him engaged or make him occupied, right? So we thought that why don't we do something for kids, that in 1 hour that kid will be able to do something which he can or she can showcase to parents also, and even parents can showcase to their friends or neighbors or whomsoever they meet. We thought of creating our first workshop as our kids workshop, was salt painting workshop. Salt painting workshop, very easy. All you need is salt, glue, and colors. In 1 hour, kids were extremely happy. Then the next step was figuring out how we can get adults on table, which is from age group 18 to age group 33. Then we created a module saying that now you can't really step out, but still you want to do something creative at home, so that because you're at home all the time, so you have to make sure that you're utilizing your time by creating something so that it can be a stress buster for you as well. So we created a theme called you can use or you can create anything with minimal supplies that are easily available at home. So a workshop, like we have an upcoming workshop, it's called DIY coaster workshop from your old cardboard, which means that जो घर में Amazon Myntra के बक्से नहीं होते, उससे you can create a nice poster which can be regularly used in kitchen. That was our workshop. Second, our workshop for adults was only women workshop. It was fabric painting workshop. Fabric painting workshop, especially for women who have got great interest in botany, which also means that botanical themes. So we created fabric painting workshop. Now every workshop grew in a way that in our first workshop we had 3 participants. Then the next workshop we had 7 participants. Moving forward now we have 10 participants per workshop, and the situation is such that we are now dividing it into 2 batches. So imagine, right from 3 participants in one workshop, we have now 10 participants for the same workshop divided into 2 batches. That means 20 participants for the same topic. So how did the customer acquisition work out for us? Right. So the copy was very simple. So, so we discussed two things first, that we figured out personas. First persona was kids. That means the parents as a category, age group 35 to 55, men, women from tier 1 to tier 2 cities, typical audience category. Second category was adults from 18 to 35 from tier 1 or tier 2 cities. Now, platform also would vary because for a parent of a kid of, let's say, 4 or 5 years old who is into 35 to 55 category would not be so active on Instagram. So Facebook was a category that worked out really well for us. And for a adult which is from 18 to 35, Instagram worked out really well for us. And we also did a lot of experiments also, right, in that. So what we did is, so Instagram and Facebook works on a very nice concept. It's called engagement. So especially Instagram for that matter, it works on engagement. So we have few digital marketers also with us. Instagram doesn't allow you to run a page like campaign. What is a page like campaign? Which means that you can just put money and ask people to like your page. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yes, yes.
Instagram works on how good your content is, right? So when we were running campaigns on Instagram, we made sure that we used to show only picture of an artist making that product. That's it. No copy on the creative, nothing. And it worked out really well for Instagram. But when it comes to parents as a category, Facebook was something which worked out really well because we knew that Facebook worked for us. Now there's a difference. On Instagram, we ran only creative, and on Facebook, we made an ad copy on the creative saying that this is the workshop that we are conducting and this is the landing page. You see the difference because the age group which is 18 to 32, 33, they are used to clicking on link in bio or sign up button when you see details on the landing page, right? Why? Whereas someone who lies in 35 to 50 character needs to uh, you know needs that content to be read upfront so that one can make up his mind. So we talked about two things. One is figuring out the audience persona. Secondly, figuring out the right channel to reach out to the right customer, be it adult as a category, be it parent as a category. Yeah. Now I'm going to talk about how the actual workshop works. So we held our workshops on Zoom. So someone also asked me what were the data privacy issues. Since we all have been hearing a lot of things happening around Zoom that your privacy is on stake, etc. What I strongly feel is, as a participant, what I do is I send a direct Zoom link to them, so they don't even have to register their email ID or phone number while they are accessing the workshop. All they have to do is they have to just say or type their name and press OK, and you are in the meeting. That's it. You just have to type the password of the meeting, which is also provided by the host. So I don't think that there is a privacy issue for at least participants, but for people who have been using paid version of Zoom, people like us, I haven't really experienced any breach in privacy because obviously we have inserted our card details into Zoom, making sure that because Zoom allows you to use free session only for 40 minutes, so you have to take a licensed version so that you can continue using Zoom for hours and you can record it as well. But I don't think that privacy is an issue. This is my own personal experience because I have not really faced this issue so far. Okay, now we are talking about, there is an echo that's happening. Okay, I'll continue. Now I'll talk about moving from technology. So audience आपके platform पे आ गए, they register for your workshop. Now the next thing, that's how do we engage them? First and foremost thing is that a friend of mine, Mayuresh, is also on the call. I think what really works is the content that you provide to people, and that is something which is going to get you the returning audience in. Trust me, currently I have at least 45% of the returning audiences that are happening to us, Kikit as a platform, which means that people are attending at least 2 or more workshops with us. Because two things. First is the cost is very affordable. We don't give any discounts as such, but the cost is very affordable. Like we give 1 hour sessions in $399 where you end up making 2 good products with the minimal supplies that are easily available at home. And second and most important factor is the way you communicate with the audiences. We learned it in a hard way. I'm going to also talk about it. Initially, we thought of creating a batch of 12 or 13 also, but we ended up making a chaos. Then we realized that let's not be too greedy about it. We can make a batches of 7, making 2 batches makes it 14 for the same topic. so that a host and an artist or whoever is uh, uh, conducting the workshop can actually talk to the audiences in detail way. And I'll tell you how it worked for us. So in the first workshop, when we made a very good communication, when we established a very good communication with our participants, we ended up getting 50% returning audiences for the next workshop, which means that for the next workshop, now I only have to take an effort. So let's say if I'm imagining a batch of 10, I already have 5 participants who got carried away from the first workshop. Now I have to take effort. I have to spend money to make only those 5 participants register for the workshop. So your overall return increases. So we call it at revenue by cost, or in a very technical term, we call it as revenue return on ad spends. Uh, and when I say return on ad spends, which essentially means that the amount that you get in return against the number of amount that you actually spend to get customers to buy your product or to attend your workshop. So 50% of the audience got driven from first workshop to the second workshop. And trust me, it was the same audience who has been now asking us that, is there an advanced level workshop? So two learnings. First, people, if the content is good, people will try to consume more content from you. So we never gave any discounts even in the second returning audiences workshop. So even if you attend our second workshop, you will not have any discounts because we give very quality content, right? So first thing is, since we gave a very nice quality content, we got 50% returning customers. Now, those 50% returning customers also started asking that, hey, I have attended 2 workshops, level 1, level 2. Are you also planning to make a workshop which is level 3, level 4? Which means that can I attend an advanced level workshop? Now funnel dikh raha hai. I can see a funnel, right? So now people consume good content. They ended up making good products for themselves or even for their kids. Now even they can see a funnel that down the line 3 months, I want to see that what different products I can make or what different techniques I can learn either from this platform or a different artist altogether, right? Same platform, different artist. Then for the returning customer, we started taking different topics because मेरे को returning customer भी चाहिए and I don't want that customer also to get bored. So we started coming up with different topics. Topic A, topic B, topic C for the returning customers, and for the new customers, every time there will be a new topic altogether. So we did a nice amalgamation. So now what happened is I'm spending an X amount to get new customers, out of which 50% are already coming on board. Now my top of the funnel is increasing. And when my top of the funnel is increasing, when the lockdown gets over, when I start selling my products online, I already have 50% as my organic returning pool who trust me, who knows that Kikito gives a very quality content. मुझे ऐसा लगता है they will definitely go on the platform the moment they see a product, they will buy a product. This is a win for any platform. So see, we have just started. हम लोग अभी बहुत छोटे हैं. Imagine Amazon, Myntra. These guys are really big. So we don't really compare ourselves to Amazon, Myntra because they are just marketplaces. We consider ourselves to be a platform creating livelihood for the underprivileged craftsmen, right? But I'll tell you that for me to succeed, I need to be reached out to every possible buyer who can afford an average ticket size of at about 580 to 620 to understand that Kikito is a platform जिसके लोग मुझे पता है, personally जानते भी नहीं है, that's okay, but at least I have seen them communicating to people. I've seen them creating a community so that अगर मैं Kikito से लेता हूँ, मुझे डिस्काउंट नहीं मिलता है फिर भी चलेगा, but I have heard that Kikito is doing something significantly well, or at least Kikito is doing something for people in the form of teaching or in form of spreading an art, spreading an awareness, so that I can trust the platform. This increases my returning audience when I start selling my product down the line 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whenever the lockdown is over. So imagine one idea of doing an online workshop because the lockdown happened actually going to help me to get organic purchases, organic transactions down the line 3 months. So when I spend money post lockdown to get new customers, the entire money will be spent to get only new customers because organic to मेरे पास आ ही रही है through workshops. So one business vertical is actually helping the other business vertical to scale, not just sustain, to scale. Now, since I'm talking about sustenance and scale, I also have Dr. Mayuresh Kemkar with us. Mayuresh Kemkar, I'll tell you a quick background of Dr. Mayuresh Kemkar. Mayuresh Kemkar is He runs his own guitar classes. The guitar classes name is Mayuresh. There is a lot of noise that's coming in the background.
Can you hear me now?
There is still a lot of noise that's coming in the background.
Now you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. So I'll just give you a quick introduction. So since last 25 years, Mayuresh and his family has been running guitar classes, completely offline classes. The moment lockdown was declared by the government, immediately shifted his offline classes to online classes. Mayuresh, in 2 to 3 minutes, can you give us how it works for you?
Yeah, actually, like I was wondering like how to shift this business. It was completely offline, and like my family and me, we are pretty much used to that type of work nature and everything. So first of all, my basic problem was like how to shift that, how to convince people like you're not to like visit the place now, so you're supposed to come online. And so primarily me and Vaibhav, we usually quarrel on not many things and our ideas, but we always settle down to one thing, that is content and conviction ka paisa hai. So we actually made a simple video where we actually interacted, and I actually taught Vaibhav a simple song which you could actually learn through a Zoom or any online app. And we actually promoted the same video to everyone, and then the people got convinced. And actually now almost my 70% of offline customers have shifted to online.
75% of the customers have shifted to online.
Yeah, 70% customers are shifted.
Okay, Kiran. Thank you.
It's like 2-3 days.
Okay, thanks, Mayuresh. Do we have Naresh on the call? Naresh, we don't have Naresh on the call. Okay, not a problem. We'll go back to Naresh after a while. So, like Mayuresh mentioned that uh, how he shifted his offline business. Historically, tuitions mein jaake people used to learn guitar, but then he immediately shifted his business to a complete online set of business. Now, I'll tell you what did not work for me. Uh, I'm a very passionate entrepreneur, like all of us, right? Scale चाहिए. मतलब revenue भी sustaining चाहिए, but scale भी चाहिए. So I thought that the online workshops are working really well for Indian audiences. The category from 16 to 55 people are actually attending. We have returning customers. So then I thought of creating a workshop for the US customers. I launched a campaign for West Coast, a different campaign for East Coast altogether because of the time difference. And I was anticipating that if not 10 per batch, but I'll at least end up getting at least 5 customers on table per batch. But then I hardly got any. And it's not that I launched this US campaign all of a sudden. I did my own research for 10 to like 2 weeks. I did my own research. I spoke to a lot of people that what's the situation in the US, how people are coping up with the current situation. And then a lot of people told me that yes, everyone is at home and even they are looking forward to consume something like what you're doing in India, that you can actually do something very creative with minimal supplies that you have got at home. So I thought that ये तो US में भी चलेगा. Then I slightly increased the cost also, because of course you have then USD coming in, that also helps you to get a good revenue boost, right? At a sustained ad spend. But then it did not work for me. I'll tell you why it did not work for me, because I realized that Kikito has not started a week back. Kikito has started almost a year back. And whoever joined in our workshop, at least 30 to 40% of them, they had seen Kikito's ad somewhere, or they were our followers, or some or the other way to a word of mouth publicity, they had heard something about Kikito. But in the US, we had no presence. And it's not that I did not really take this condition into the account that, US में we don't really have any presence, people don't know about us. मुझे ऐसा लगा था that if you give good content, even in the US, people will, sort of go ahead and buy the workshop that you are going to conduct for them. But it did not work out, simply because there was no base that was created by Kikito. There was no presence, even in an online in an online way, that was created in the US market. So one thing I learned really well, that even if you want to do an online workshop converting your audiences from one business module to a second business module, you need to have presence in your own ecosystem, which I learned it in a hard way. But now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to push a lot of heavy marketing in terms of product sale in the US once the lockdown is over. No, definitely not. I mean, of course, I'm going to do lifting in terms of marketing for the US customers, but parallelly, I'm also going to do a lot of content marketing in the US customers, showcasing what we have done so far in India in terms of online workshops, how we actually made people happy. There is a happiness quotient also, right? Uh, like how you make people happy by creating small things that are by supplies which are easily available at home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push a lot of good content in the US market, and then essentially probably after a month or a month and a half's time, I'm going to start our advertising in the US, doing our online workshops. So that's my plan for the US market as well. Now, before we take questions, uh, I've been reading a lot during this lockdown period that what is meanwhile you all can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, sure.
So, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So, I was saying, I'm going to mute again. Okay, I was saying that what are the four verticals that are going to do significantly well once the lockdown is over? And I feel there are four verticals. First is your education, second is finance, third is health, and fourth is groceries, which means that important vegetables. I think these are the four verticals which are going to do really, really well. And when I say which are going to do really well, it is completely data driven, which means that people organically would want to consume these products. And when I say this is what doing better is, right? Doing better is not कि अरे वाह लोग सब इसके बारे में अच्छा बोल रहे नहीं. Doing better is when people organically actively consume services, which we term it as doing better. These are the four services which are going to do better. Let me repeat it again: education, health, finance, and groceries. Now, I want to be in one of the verticals. Now, education is something I already have started in the last 45 days. And I would want to make sure that this education sort of vertical, I grow this vertical to next 4 months, 5 months to a level where it starts supporting my actual business at par. Which means that यहाँ पे मेरा एक marketplace vertical है, यहाँ पे मेरा loan vertical है. I don't want to complicate business also, but as a I'm open, or at least I'm considerate about evaluating multiple verticals which are going to give you a boost when it comes to your revenue growth. See, it's not that company को 5-6 साल हो गए, I know कि ये vertical चलता है, इसको accelerate करो, यहाँ से मेरे को बहुत धंध आता है, यहाँ से margin भी अच्छे, मेरा P&L तो बहुत solid है, investors के पास जाओ, यहाँ से तो पैसा मिलेगा ही नहीं. We are at a level where very calculatively we have to make sure that we are examining multiple business verticals and see which vertical is working out for you in which domain. And when I say domain, in what audience category. One thing I've realized very very well in my life that see, मैं कुछ essential तो बेचता नहीं हूँ, such as मैं ना vegetable बेचता हूँ, ना मैं कभी बेचूंगा, ना मैं medicine बेचता हूँ. So I'm not an essential service, right? So I have to make sure that people are coming back to my website. There is a stickiness that is happening between my customer and me. Now I have to figure out different ways how to build that stickiness. Initially, we had marketplace, then we had loans, and now we have workshops. So we have three different ways how we can create that stickiness. Because once I build that stickiness, once I bridge that gap, my pipeline for next 4 quarters is completely forcing. Like I can predict that what's going to happen next 4 quarters because now I have a immense data that I can work upon. So that's going to happen next 4 quarters. First is I'm going to come up with advanced sales workshops, making sure that uh, who are my returning audiences gets to consume good content from my end, so that they again move to my marketplace and buy different products. Because see, my supply is also increasing day by day because currently I have like 52 craftsmen. Essentially down the line 6 months I'll have more than 300 400 indigenous craftsmen, so my SKUs would increase. The moment I have incremental SKUs, I'll have to make sure that there is a demand that's coming in. That demand, अगर मेरे पास प्रोडक्ट ही और डिमांड ही नहीं है तो इट वुड नॉट वर्क. और ऐसा नहीं कि आई हैव डीपर पॉकेट्स लाइक अमेजॉन फ्लिपकार्ट, मैं तो दिन का 5-6 लाख चलाओ, दिन का एक करोड़ स्पेंड करो, नहीं, इतना तो डीप पॉकेट्स नहीं है अपने पास. सो आई हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट a nice combination of organic traffic that's coming on table, a combination of a paid traffic that is coming on table is giving me a revenue growth. So now we'll take quick questions. We have some time. We'll take quick questions. These are questions, and it can be a good kind of conversations also. We can start with questions.
Vaibhav, Nilesh here. Hi.
Hi, Nilesh.
Yeah. So I'm sorry if you must have already covered it or I have missed it, but I just wanted to ask. You mentioned that when you conducted the workshops, right? 50% of them revisited, right?
Yeah.
So they were your confirmed customers. So I just wanted to know what was your strategy of targeting the other 50%, right? Okay, 50% is a good number, right? Which bounce back, and which were now your brand advocates or your brand
Correct.
loyals,
Correct.
right? That was one thing. So I just
Correct.
want to know what was your strategy to reacquire or probably a remarketing strategy to cater to that 50% which has dropped out from the fund.
Okay, perfect. So two different strategies that we followed. First is engaging them with not email and not SMSs, but from a personalized WhatsApp. That is first. See, I understand that currently I'm at a level that a team of 3 can actually cater to my current customers who once had registered for the workshop or at least had inquired for the workshop through our business WhatsApp, because it gives a very personalized touch. Nilesh, you must have seen a lot of websites that whenever you add a product into the cart, you submit your details and you don't purchase a product, you actually get a call from the website, or at least you get a WhatsApp from a website. We're implementing the same strategy. There is no rocket science in it, that we are actually creating a personalized touch from our business WhatsApp that, hey, you inquired about the workshop. Is there a timing mismatch? Is there a topic mismatch? Please let me know. Now, this is about people who have already inquired and who have not really transacted in the workshop. Now, second and the most important factor is, what about the new audiences that I'm going to need for my workshop, which is rest of the 50%. Now, what I did is I implemented a vernacular strategy. And when I say vernacular strategy, I implemented a Facebook business manager's marketing strategy, wherein if I want to market in Maharashtra, I would come up with a Marathi content. If I want to target people outside Maharashtra, probably Delhi, Rajasthan, where Hindi is highly spoken, or the probability of Hindi speaking language people are more, then I would create an ad copy which would be in Hindi. Because what happens ना, वो लोग वही होते हैं कि a typical who is a tech savvy person who watches Netflix, Amazon Prime, जो Wood देखता है, probably जो जिसने Myntra को like करा है, जो जिसने art as a category जो Facebook पे like करता है. These are our typical buckets. But there are buckets which are beyond it, right? Which are very, very vernacular, which are very native, which we call it, right? So we created native language advertisements. Maharashtrian language, which is Marathi. We created ads in Malayalam. We created ads in Telugu. We created ads in Tamil also and Hindi also. These were the 5 major languages that we created. Now, I spoke about Facebook's engagement algorithm. The moment you become vernacular, Facebook starts pushing your ad to the people who are more likely to consume that pattern. That means I have a new audience that is coming, that is beyond Netflix and Amazon, that is Amazon Prime, which is coming on my website. So vernacular was the second strategy. And third and most important strategy was video. We also tried, so what we used to do is we used to make artists speak about the type of workshop that the artist is going to consume. And then we started distributing those videos into tier 2 cities. That's how we got audiences of rest of the 50%, which were new audiences. And we continue doing so. We are still continue doing so, because every time you come up with the new topic, you have to make sure that there are new audiences who are coming on board, and the rest of the 50% are being engaged by personalized WhatsApp or a direct call for that matter.
Sounds good. That actually makes sense. Just one final question. Did you operate on a feedback mechanism on once you conducted a workshop, or so let's say 100 people attended your workshop, the first workshop that you created, let's say for the kids, right? Out of which, let's say 70 joined over the level 2, right, of the same course, right? Now the 30% people have actually not re-signed up or re-registered to the next level.
Correct.
Right? So did you follow a feedback mechanism for asking them what went wrong, or what is it that is what is something different that you would want in the course or anything of that sort?
This actually is a very important topic to discuss. So two ways to it. A, we did not really follow an upfront feedback mechanism asking that how was the workshop, but we followed the other way. What we started doing, so whoever were our previous customers, we started pushing our upcoming workshops creatives to them. That this is since you attended our last workshop, this is the next workshop. Then some of them also replied saying that I'm not going to join. Then we started asking questions that what did not work out for you. Then, very, very honest opinion, one person also said that the workshop was scheduled for only 1 hour, but it went for quarter to 2 hours, and we did not have that much time. So it started at 7 o'clock until 8:30. The artist was still teaching, and we are so as a so as a family, everyone is now. So we don't have really maids in the house, so we have to cook also, we have to do dishes also, or we have to do household activities. So anything which is beyond 8:30, I'm not going to sign up. So I had to drop off. So now I'm not going to sign up for your next workshop. Then we again tried to convince them that the next workshop is going to be only for an hour or max to max an hour or 15. So कभी कभी क्या होता है ना, थोड़ा सा ओवर एंगेजमेंट हो जाता है, that you during the workshop you end up speaking to people a lot with an agenda, यार इसको engage करेंगे so that ये 2 बार आया 3 बार तो आ ही जाएगा. But at times it did not work for us, because then it got extended to 1.5 hours or more than that. So we did feel a heat because the overstretched workshops. Yes, so upfront notification about the upcoming workshop was a way to get a subtle positive and negative feedback.
Sounds good. So that's it from my end. Hey, thank you so much.
Yes. Mayuresh, you had a question? Yes, Tarun, please tell me.
I've got a question. So, first of all, Nilesh, thanks. Those questions are very relevant. So this vernacular language experimenting, Web, you and I have spoken about this before, but I mean, since you have a digital marketing or a agency background as well, so how does one come to identify the geographies and the languages that they should be going after? So, like, we are a very localized Pune-based business, and we're experimenting with online as well. So we still are not very clear about what our audience is and where they're going to be coming from. So how do I sort of come to that point where I've decided that this is the right thing to do?
Okay.
The analysis
Perfect.
part. Yeah.
Perfect. So we came up with two parallel approaches. First is our own first party data for the last 9 months. And when I say first party data, which means that people who have bought product more than 499 or people who have bought product more than 599, which is our average order value, unka regions where they belong, we figured out. Then we created different buckets: tier 1 city, tier 2 city, state 1, state 2, state 3, and number of people who are continuously visiting on our website. So we create Facebook's bucket. How Facebook's algorithm work is, Facebook's persona is called psychographic personas, where you have a combination of demographics and interest, where you can reach out to people basis their interest or demographics, right? And the second is your own data. Like, let me repeat again, right? So there are two data that you can actually work on. First is Facebook data, which is a combination of demographics and interest. And then second is your own data, which the data which you have earned, which is your first party data. What we did is we created a nice integration of that data. First is the number of products, the type of transactors who have bought from us, the states that they belong, the cities that they belong, the type of language that they speak. That is first. And secondly, we tried reaching out to them through Facebook's demographics and interest category. So we call it a pollinate matrix. I will not get into a lot of technicalities of it. Pollinate is basically Facebook allows you to reach out to the similar audiences, which is called as lookalike, which means that if we have a data of 100 people जिन्होंने last 9 months से Kikito से average order value 650 के ऊपर से product buy किए हैं, Facebook allows us to reach out to 1 lakh such people, which are lookalikes of those 100 people. So 100 people मेरा खुद का first party data है. With the use of Facebook lookalike, now I have 1 lakh pool who are more likely to convert to my website. So these are the two approaches that we followed.
Well, actually, you rightly put it. So when we started experimenting with this meetup.com, I mean, there's been a lot of debate, like today's event as well, whether we should route people through the meetup, because then that means signing up before you reach the pot the pot of gold at the end of the tunnel.
Correct.
Or do you just give away the direct Zoom link? And so we've been having this debate. So now we are going to be experimenting. So what we found is that organically building up membership, and I don't mean signing up on the events, just people who are interested and just leave there, become members, hoping that there'll be some event that is interesting, either by the name of the group or whatever. So we found that organically building that up is a bit challenging, because what do? You send a message to Vaibhav, or you send a message to Pratik or to Reena and say, "Hey, I've set up this meetup group," but it might not be something that they're interested in or familiar with the concept. So we found that if you actually click on another group, like recently we signed up, we became members of a group called 10,000 Startup. Suddenly we find Sham tak 3-4 members will sign up, and it will show that that person has the same, that person and you are members of that other group. So I don't know how the algorithm works. Why did that person basically, suddenly if I signed up to another group, and what is the commonality of interest? It doesn't, I still haven't figured it out, but it's worked out. So we've got about 15 or 20 members in the last 3 weeks just by clicking on another group which has 10,000 members and just becoming a member without having I participated, contributed at all to any of the happenings in that other group, and suddenly you'll end up with 2 or 3 people who come and join your membership. So pretty much I think the same with the lookalikes, So
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
It is. Yes, Mayuresh.
Yeah, hi, Vaibhav.
Yes.
Like I've shifted completely to from offline to online since last 1 month. I will be facing one problem frequently, like we have discussed this before. So I will put it in very slow fashion. See, how to do an organized multi-student session. Okay.
Mayuresh, your voice is. Can you remove your headphones and talk on the phone, because there is a lot of noise that's happening.
Hear me now?
Yes, very loud and clear.
Yeah. So I have to find a solution to this particular thing, how to do an organized multi-student session workshop, but with different topics.
Okay. Nilesh, since you have been working online since last 2.5 years, would you have a relevant answer to this? So his question is, how do we organize multi-session workshop for different topics?
Workshop. Yeah.
I actually do not have an answer to this. I'm sorry, Vaibhav. But from a marketing perspective, I would have a tip. I might be wrong, right? But it's usually it makes more sense to have a workshop for a particular session once at a time, because then the content becomes more specific, and it's ultimately the content that is the end user is consuming, right? When you have too many things to handle in a single workshop, then it becomes a bit difficult. I hope that is a valid suggestion. I don't know.
Okay. I think Mayuresh, I'll also speak to people who have been taking multiple workshops of multiple topics. Let me see what they also have to say. If that's something that we can crack, I think I can also implement it. Like I can do multiple workshops in a day for different topics.
Yeah, the problem I'm facing is I cannot just reduce my operation time. It's getting it's stretching like anything. If I do a single session workshop now, so it's limited to few students, but I have if more than, let's say, 50 students enrolling for a same topic, then it is okay for me to continue with the single one. But if there are only 2 students for one topic and 3 for others, and likewise, so it's very difficult to arrange a typical amount of a time to take a separate session or a dedicated one.
Correct. I understood. So because that will unnecessarily increase the operational cost also, and revenue तो उतना ही रहेगा, but operational cost increase होता जाएगा.
Yeah, even the revenue reduces. Sometimes you feel it reduces.
Correct. Absolutely. I think.
And there is one more question, last one. Hypothetically, if lockdown continues for let's say next 3 months or 4 months, then what I should do about my offline place? It's my offline place. It's already present there. I have already got set up there, and that would how I should change my offline place where I could actually help my online business partly with the same.
I think Tarun would be a better person to answer this.
Yeah.
So Tarun,
Yogesh,
what do you think?
Yeah, hi,
हमारा
Tarun.
idea ये है that so when we were doing this co-working, so the thing is we're not so big hum nahi hai. So we've got about a 40-50 seater, and then we've got another 40-50 seater. So it doesn't leave a lot of place for community activities, or if, for example, we wanted to
Okay.
run a guitar
Yeah.
session, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Right,
So
right.
we were missing that element of bringing people together. So we decided we'll have an event or a venue that can actually be let out, so we
Yeah.
can use it for our own community, let it out to corporates. So you want to do a speak up event, so anything is fine.
Okay.
So we finally identified a place or sab kara, but then lockdown happened, so we don't know whether we'll go ahead with it or not. And then we were not thinking about online at all. Then this online thing started happening. We've done a few workshops. Now we are struggling like you in terms of trying to get the right kind of interest and monetize it, which is why web of today is so important for us.
Yeah.
So बात करते करते हम लोगों को ये ध्यान आया that actually having a venue can be very powerful when the lockdown is off. How
Okay.
is कि आज के डेट में क्या होता है that आप ये अभी हम इवेंट कर रहे हैं, suddenly आपकी आवाज इतनी अच्छी नहीं आ रही है. So if you're teaching music, that becomes even more important. So what
Yes.
we were thinking is that we would actually start to explore doing a 15-20% live on offline event, and with the use of technology, we would stream it. So what would
Okay.
happen is that we would control the entire narrative. तो वो कैमरा के सामने खड़े हैं, हमें वहाँ पे गिटार पे फोकस करना है, इस पे फोकस करना है. Like today, Vaibhav can choose to actually show us a video, or basically talk to us, or go on mute, or show his video. But when you're doing a real time event, so you can actually record that, and then you can control the quality of the sound, you can control the quality of the transmission. So
Okay.
when that happens, what will happen is that you would basically have a very good mixture of online and offline, and the
Okay.
content that you end up creating can be very useful to actually help you with marketing. And also maybe कल आपको एक और session करना है, like you were saying, multiple sessions. So उसमें rather than having it in real time, you could actually send that link to your student, which
Okay.
basically can be unlocked through an Udemy or whatever. Because that's how once you have great content means sound clear honi chahiye, the speaker is fantastic, engaging, the video quality is fantastic, and it's basically got the right things for people, because the learning mode is very different from this kind of a workshop that we're having right now. We're going to learn from this workshop, but we haven't come here to do a course on marketing. But when you come to do a
Okay.
course on, let's say, a guitar or whatever, so हम लोगों को बहुत ज़्यादा strong potential इसमें लग रहा है, if we are
Okay.
able to sort of control, find the sweet spot between the
Okay.
offline and the online. It's like
Okay.
work from home and office. कभी
Uh,
ऑफिस जाएंगे, कभी घर पे करेंगे, पर फिर घर का भी इंटरनेट अच्छा होना चाहिए, that kind of thing.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Varun.
Hey, Sagar.
Hi, Vaibhav.
Yes, Sai.
Okay, so my basic question is just on your marketing part and the sales part you did. So when you said that your target audience were school students,
I can't see you, Sagar. A second.
no, so my video is not on, audio is on.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Okay, so when you said that your target audience was school students, okay, so
Yeah.
did you try to target the schools and get partner and do the workshop for them rather than reaching out individually? And the second question is
See.
that
Hmm.
same. So did you try to list on the platforms other than your Facebook and Instagram, suppose Meetup and Airbnb, where you
Hmm.
can get their audience also?
Hmm.
And the
Okay.
third question is that did you try? So is there an target defined audience where you try to cross sell your product? Suppose today, any company which is trying to get us. Suppose I have an existing customer base of 10 lakh users,
Hmm.
and I need that 10 lakh customers by just saying that let's have a partnership. Your customers anyways are not engaged because your product is right now not
Hmm.
working due to lockdown. So
Hmm.
let's collaborate, and can you help us to promote my product? So have you
Hmm.
tried any cross selling?
Okay, you mean partnership
Cross selling, partnership cross selling. So
or
where
cross
in
selling?
future
Okay.
you can promote the product. So three
Okay.
questions: one B2B type, third is any aggregator platform have you explored, and
Hmm.
third any cross selling have you tried?
Okay. Now let's answer one by one. First is talking about school. Now let me give you a very nice funnel how this is going to happen. अभी मेरे पास ना यहाँ पे शरद पवार स्कूल है, ठीक है? If I go to them, I say that I mean before reaching out to the direct parents, if I would have directly gone to the school, I mean even in an online way by reaching out to them either a telephone or probably a Skype, I would have told them this is what we are planning to do. It would have never really gotten close because I don't really have any success story to showcase. I come from a very strong sales background. What I do is I show bada bada karke dikha do. This is what I have done in the last 2 months. These are the 100 happy parents who have individually signed up on my platform. These are 200 happy kids who have been individually creating something really, really amazing. Now, these are my happy customers who have been with us. They're increasing their happiness quotient. Now, I'm reaching out to the school that basis this. Can I now incrementally also give you the same service? See, currently we are at a stage where I needed a faster closure. A school would have taken couple of more weeks to get permissions, to get approvals in place. मैं उस school को पूछूंगा, school जाके फिर अपने authority से पूछेगा, authority जाके parents पे distribute करेगा, then parents जाके हाँ बोलेंगे and फिर वो मेरे platform पे आएंगे. I needed a success story to showcase. Now, I have done my pipeline a very fast track, which means that I have 100 success stories. Now I can go to school and I can show bada bada PPT. These are my 100 happy parents. Now my closure cycle is fastened. Earlier, if my cycle was about 2 weeks, probably my cycle is of 1 week. I'm actually saving a 7 days time, right? So I was very clear that I needed an immediate success story. For that, I needed immediate closure, immediate yet affordable closure. Thus, I reached out to the direct customer and not to any business vertical as such. But yes, eventually we'll be reaching out to them. Secondly, we talked about platforms. That did we explore anything beyond Google, Facebook, and Instagram? Right? Was that the platform? Was that the question?
Right. Meetup, Airbnb.
Correct. So actually, the thing is very clear. Currently, मेरे पास अगर एक भी रुपया है ना, तो मेरे को वो एक रुपया एकदम carefully market में pitch करना है. Which means that even if I'm spending 1 rupee in advertisement, I have to make sure that I'm expecting some sort of returns from them. Thus, I needed a platform. Those were very well tried and tested and had a great success story with me, at least personally, and the platforms I knew how to handle and how to work or how would work for me. Thus, I needed, I used Instagram, Facebook because A, I knew how to operate the platform. Secondly, it was tried and tested platform. Thirdly, we are at a condition, we are at a stage where even if we are spending 1 rupee, I'm expecting or I should expect return out of it. That's why I needed a platform जिसके ऊपर मैं trust कर सकूं. But yet, eventually, when the things will change down the line 3-4 months, when market will pick up, we'll have probably some sort of extra amount to experiment with the newer platforms. We will definitely going to do that. In fact, हम लोग कल ही सोच रहे थे we'll try doing TikTok.
No, I'm talking about free platforms. Where you like Airbnb just started their change the business model.
Yeah, no. See,
experimenting.
We could have done that, but again, I said our current focus is to get direct customers as soon as possible and to build my own success story. Yes, there would have been an organic way to reach out to Airbnb, creating your own store, but I wanted first to be traffic driven to my website, get my own pool stronger so that whenever I start my product, I have my own first party data. So that's why I stick to the paid part and not really gotten into any partnerships or any Airbnbs or any other experiences store. For LBB भी करता है वो सारा, but we never really reached out to them because accelerate करना था revenue, transactions बढ़ाने थे so that I can reach out to the larger parents by showcasing my current success story. But eventually we will do that by reaching out.
Shout out also work. Shout out on other platforms.
No, we never reached out to anyone in last 45 days. We just stick to our own website, our own.
No. So for example, now WhatsApp, Hot and the other platforms like you say on Instagram, who charges $500 to do the shout out. So have you tried that?
Boost is what.
Boost na. So they post.
Like you reach out to Pune foodies and then they post, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't work, yaar.
No. Similar any platform which is the best target audience.
Because I'll tell you, उसके ऊपर मैंने पैसा गलाया है. अरे forget those platforms. We have done influencer marketing also. मतलब जिसके पास 3-4 लाख है, अकाउंट वेरीफाइड है, आर्टिस्ट है, मराठी हीरो हीरोइन है, मेरा प्रोडक्ट पुश किया पर एक भी ट्रांजैक्शन है. I said it's okay. Let's just put
Okay.
good content on the website and get good conversions.
Okay, cool.
Because I'll tell you, it's very simple. If I want to buy a T-shirt or if I want to buy a guitar, I'll ask my friend and not any celebrity. See, I understand that expecting transactions from them, it's not a first priority. You essentially reach out to such guys to get newer audiences on table, to increase your reach, to explore your, to expand your brand, this thing, brand upliftment. But we're at a stage where I can't afford to do that. Whatever I'm doing, I'm expecting transactions out of it. So I'm sticking to very basic things, which I know that for sure going to give me revenue. Right. And third question I have forgotten.
Cross selling, like using other audience.
Such as?
Suppose anything like now how in the startup is did that Grofers tied up with Zomato. So Zomato was doing nothing, so enhancing their delivery channel, and since they were short of things, so what happens is that the Zomato's audience also gets promoted to Grofers. So anything cross selling. So to bring
No,
a traffic on your platform.
Not really, not as of now, and I don't think so that I'm going to do it for next 6-7 months also. There is a business.
No, so what happens is that cost selling helps you to reduce the customer acquisition cost because you're bringing up the audience which is already generated and they don't have engagement level right now.
I understood the point.
Example, now you say that you do a session with WeWork and saying that we will host for your session, where you know the WeWork has got a good target set of audience, premium set of audience, that in future they might come and join your workshops or buy your art or promote you because they are a global community, I think. So that kind of cross selling and partnerships.
No, not really. As of now, so we have not done really cross selling, because I'll tell you, one true fact is that yes, you're right, you get larger customer base. But I also feel that when you tie up with someone else, see, agar मैं खुद manufacturer होता ना, so I would have been a better position to tie up with any other third party vendors who would give me a boost to my traffic or transactions. But ना मैं marketplace हूँ, मेरा already ना margins बहुत कम है धंधे में. तो problem क्या है ना, जो मैं खुद ही वेबसाइट में जो बेचता हूँ ना, उसमें मेरे मार्जिन इतने कम है. If I tie up with somebody else, I will end up earning nothing, and I don't want to do that. Would have been.
No. So there will be free tie-up where you are selling a content there to generate the audience.
No, see, I don't think that as of now, I need to rely on any other third-party platform immediately, because whatever customers we are getting, I think the current platforms which are doing significantly better for us, which is Facebook, Instagram, and we'll be exploring Google and other platform also, are doing well for us. I know it's paid, but we are getting good transactions. My P&L is getting balanced. So from business perspective, immediately, I don't think so that we are looking at any integration, because first I want to improve my brand equity. That is first. Secondly, I also want to make sure that my margins are being balanced. And secondly, it is not that we are never going to do that. We will do that once we see that at least 2 out of 3 verticals are getting scaled. My ROIC is balanced. My return on ad investments are on autopilot and scaling. Then we can definitely explore any other integrations. Like we are doing some same experience what Airbnb is doing in a different way. What Airbnb is doing is Airbnb allows you to book their homes basis host availability and basis your ability. They open up a calendar and you just can choose basis your own convenience. We are also trying to do the same. What we are doing is we are allowing users or participants to choose day and time of the workshop basis their convenience. I mean the batch basis their convenience. So we are, on the other hand, we are doing experiments on our own website. We are giving freedom to our own customers who are landing on our own website. So we are currently relying on our own data, our own website. As of now, I think that's the goal for next 1 quarter. Talking about tie-ups, I see that happening only after a quarter, because currently I'm completely focused on my own website.
So now my agenda was the cross-selling was that since the paper you have building an online content, right? And people are looking for consume online content right now. So
see, I'll tell you how the problem I'm solving, right? See, I have more than 50 craftsmen on my platform. See, all the craftsmen or a single individual craftsman is also a distribution network for me. So I'll tell you why I never fell short on any newer audiences, because so those 52 craftsmen, they also have their own network. So they are essentially my distribution network also. So I have a distribution network of my own. I have a distribution network of Facebook, Instagram. I have a distribution network which is driven from all the 52 different craftsmen. I have a distribution network which is driven from my own fintech platform, which is Screddy. They also send a lot of people to my own website. So I have more than 6 to 7 organic and paid distribution network who in real time are contributing a lot to drive traffic on my website. For now, I'm focusing on that. Let me scale that. Let me build that. Once I see a very strong portfolio in any other cross sell or any other potential platform which would give me a good traffic, then we'll definitely consider it. But as of now, I'm going to stick to basics.
Great, great. So basically, you want to say that currently you are happy with Instagram, Facebook marketing?
No, there is a difference. There's a difference between being happy and there is a difference between getting right customer. I can never be happy as an entrepreneur. I can never be happy. I should always think about getting newer customers, but I cannot be random in terms of getting new customers also, because I have to make sure that there is a funnel that is getting balanced. That is first. Secondly, if you are happy, your business is done. I don't think that there is an echo. Sagar, if you can put yourself on mute. Okay, I've done that. Okay. So as an entrepreneur, I can never be happy. That is first. Secondly, I'm at a stage where the platforms which we are currently using grow our revenue matching our goals. Now, the moment I have new goals set up for next quarter, next to next quarter, we will also come up with different strategies that will help to get incremental goals that are running parallel for that are respective that whatever platforms that we'll be exploring. So answering to this question, I don't think that any entrepreneur in this world is happy, because being happy is a crime. Because the moment you feel satisfied and happy, you're done with the business. So the statement itself is wrong to even presume. And secondly, immediately focusing on your own website, growing your own portfolio, acquiring customers from basic platforms which historically have been proven are the right things to do. And that is how the things are working well for the company, and that is how we are scaling also.
And, final question.
Yeah.
How do you distinguish Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn differently? Like your currently target is Facebook, Instagram, but what about Twitter and LinkedIn?
See, I have done Twitter and LinkedIn before in my past. To be very honest, for a larger set of audiences, be it fintech or e-commerce, because I've worked with Chumbak also very closely. I worked with Alicia Souza. And talking about fintech, I worked with Nira Finance, I worked with Avail Finance, and a couple of more lending partners also. Direct NBFCs, indirect NBFC. I worked with India Nivesh also, which is a private equity and also a broker, investment broker in BSE and NSE, all that stuff. For me, I have never really seen Twitter and LinkedIn contributing to the revenue significantly. It's how you look at the platforms is what I think. I think that every platform has its own potential. All you have to do is you have to set different goals for different platforms. So for me, Twitter and Instagram would get you a good qualified traffic, but I don't think that will give you a transaction push that you require. That means that the platforms are good to get you a good quality traffic, but when it comes to getting transactions, expecting transactions, I think Instagram and Facebook is something which does a lot of work for you. And more than them, I think Google search is also a very significant contributor. It's a little expensive. It is a lot expensive, but then if you have good money in place, your conversion ratio is on the higher side. If you can afford Google search, you can definitely afford Google search.
So my question was, how does these two platforms help you get target audience?
Get target audience in the sense how Twitter and LinkedIn get your target audience?
So now, how is the Twitter and LinkedIn platform ideal for your set of customers or brand?
No, you have to specify the question.
So is it like Twitter and LinkedIn you are missing out, or you don't want to be on that platform?
No, they are too expensive. I can't afford that.
No, so for building the content and I'm thinking audience.
See, organic to chalta hi hai. Organic to will always be there. So we are pushing content on Instagram and Facebook been a while now, since last 1 year. But LinkedIn and Twitter, we are slowly building. Talking about paid, we cannot really afford LinkedIn and Twitter because A, they are expensive. Second, they will not contribute to my revenue. Talking about organic channel, yes, we'll be pushing content. We have been pushing content on LinkedIn, on Instagram and Facebook, which are historically working well for us. And we'll be building our profile for LinkedIn because we are also getting into B2B space. So LinkedIn is going to do a lot of magic for us So yes, we'll be building content in Instagram, in LinkedIn and Twitter very soon.
Okay, great.
Is that the question that you asked for? Because I
Yes,
know
yes.
that you must have gone to the website. You have seen that LinkedIn is as good as zero.
Nah, exactly. So why you want
I
to
know, I know, I
just
know, I know.
is
I know.
there any
It's a
logic
very,
behind that? I just wanted to understand.
हाँ, see, I'll tell you. अभी क्या है ना? Currently, our main focus is to bring धंधा on table, right? So जितना धंधा oriented platforms है ना, उतना focus हमारा है. LinkedIn पे personal level पे, like me and my partner, we have been pushing content from our individual profiles, and that have been working well for us. But from companies page per se, we have not really pushed any content because we hardly have like 10 followers on LinkedIn. But I think moving down 6 months, we will have to do it, because now if you're talking about B2B, reaching out to the larger real estate developers, hospitals, and institutes, we're going to have a very strong LinkedIn profile. We will be building a LinkedIn profile very soon. That's a true fact.
So just to add to what Vaibhav says, and what just a couple of my sense, when it comes to generating business for what industry or what sector Vaibhav is into, Facebook and Instagram are more engagement driven, and that is where the revenue flows in. But when it comes to LinkedIn and Twitter, it is more of promoting thought leadership. It is more of advocacy of the brand rather
Correct.
than generating revenue, right? And I don't think for a startup, thought leadership is now the right way to go. It's more of generating revenue, and probably a few years down the line, when they have a very strong base at their hand, then probably thought leadership. This is where LinkedIn, probably account-based marketing, when they diversify or venture into corporate gifting and other verticals of their business, that is where LinkedIn will come into, where ABM will come into picture. And Twitter, of course, is more content driven. It is more of just promoting, advocating your brand, and thought leadership. That's it.
And I would just like to second what Nilesh is saying, Vaibhav. So personally, for me, as I've got 2 avatars, I work a job and I am interested in a business. So every day I'm wearing both the hats, so which means that I end up having 2 LinkedIn accounts. One is my LinkedIn account, which is my personal account, brand Tarun, and then there is this other interest that just basically has to be separate.
Yeah.
I see that brand Tarun over the years has become really, really strong, and the stronger I
Exactly.
get, the more recognition I get, the more awards I get, the more investment I make, for example, whatever. So whatever the body of people that are interested, getting views is not a problem. In fact, there have been days when I put something up which is like very personal, like a photo of my laptop, and saying this is my tool of the day, and I suddenly start, मेरी आंखों के सामने 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 700 ऐसे 3 मिनट में बढ़ रहा है. So then getting likes and comments is a bit more difficult. But when I sort of go over to my account and say, चलो आज मैं तरुण नहीं बन रहा हूँ, आज let me go and check my co-wonders, it's a pain. It's trying to get anywhere to anywhere is a pain.
Exactly.
Because I don't have a brand there. And the correlation between revenue and branding on LinkedIn basically doesn't sort of stack up. To Nilesh's point, it's more about bringing your personal brand equity, getting known, being heard, and then becoming a thought leader of sorts, where you do something new and exciting, even in a small ad, and then WeWorks does it, and everybody in the industry says, "Wow, I could do it the same way."
Correct.
They're not coming there to say, "Oh, let me look for a co-working space on LinkedIn."
Exactly. Correct.
Yeah.
It's the difference between if a cred pushes a content and if Kunal Shah pushes a content. When Kunal Shah pushes a content, people are actually commenting and asking questions. When cred as a company push content, like nobody even bothers to ask even a question, right? I think the more power is the leadership that you create through LinkedIn as a channel than the company page. But when it comes to Instagram and Facebook, is the company page. I mean, the product page which does wonders for you. I think that's the difference. I think both Nilesh and Tarun, you guys have put it really, really well.
Okay, just final. So a lot of people talk about when they starting with a WhatsApp group to keep their audience engaged. Do you find it as a good platform to engage the audience by hosting multiple WhatsApp group?
Yeah, can I tell you honestly, if I was the user, I don't want to be in WhatsApp group where अगर मैंने Amazon से कुछ प्रोडक्ट खरीदा है या फिर वर्कशॉप खरीदा है, मुझे एक 100 के WhatsApp ग्रुप में ऐड किया and I've been getting push notifications. I would rather
Or
want to
workshop,
receive a
I'm
message.
talking for workshop.
No,
Suppose.
workshop is the same thing I'm saying, right? So you're saying that creating WhatsApp group and push content, right?
So no, content in the sense engaging audience by
नहीं,
posting
नहीं,
their artwork.
नहीं, WhatsApp group doesn't. I don't think though. As a user, also, the first thing people do is they leave the WhatsApp group. See, to be very honest, I would rather, as a user, would want the content to be received from an individual other than the WhatsApp group. Otherwise, most of the WhatsApp group are on mute, and I don't want to invest my bandwidth on something which is on mute. I would rather want to be more personalized because that is how it buys. So it's the simple difference between an email which you receive saying hi Sagar and the email which you receive saying hey user. When they say hi Sagar, you are more likely to reply to that email. It's the same goes with WhatsApp group. Like I don't want to be generalized because I'm not Amazon Myntra. I'm a very customized network and I want to be very personalized when I interact with my customers. Because I want to, even if I'm taking 1 minute to reaching out to my customer, I want that 1 minute to be a contributor into my business because I want a transaction or I at least want a reply from that user if I'm messaging him.
Okay, great. And does email marketing also, suppose I have a database of 110 lakh users, does that, how does it works?
यार वो प्राइमरी में जाता नहीं है, दैट इज वो अपडेट पर सोशल
नो बट द प्राइमरी में जीमेल में जाता है, बट दैट दोस पीपल हु हैव अ बिजनेस अकाउंट दैट गोस इन द इनबॉक्स.
नहीं, आई डोंट थिंक सो दैट ईमेल would see.
Is it a cost to revenue justifiable? I'm asking just.
See, हाँ, अगर तुम्हारे पास मेल चिम का फ्री अकाउंट है जिसमें तुम दिन के सिर्फ 15 ईमेल भेज सकते हो and you have a lot of time in your life, then it does. But then if you have, like, if you really have a data set of, like, let's say 1,000 emails, you might want to try it. I cannot say that because see, it is very brand specific. I cannot tell
no, so
you
there
that,
might be two. One will be like promoting my workshop, and second might be newsletter, which I generally push content to make people read my content. So there might be two approach. So which approach is something that generates me the revenue? I'm just.
So you are saying newsletter or workshop?
Workshop or indirect marketing through newsletter?
No, direct marketing. Like it's okay even if a consumer is not registering my workshop, but rather than telling what company is doing, I would rather tell that what interesting facts that we are coming in. So what I would do is, rather than coming up with a newsletter, I would send a picture of a kid who has drawn a nice picture through my workshop, and I'll say that, are you missing out on this fun? So rather than newsletter, my probability of getting a click and conversion through this fun content is more, is what I feel. So yes.
So once you say that users are based, when do you see the newsletter coming in? Once you have a good target audience, or never?
No. Once I see that I have enough data to and enough content also to talk about. So like two things, which means that once I have enough data to which my bandwidth is sufficient enough, or it is worth of creating those HTML emails and sharing the news with the people that, because see, अगर मेरे पास 500 ईमेल है ना, उसमें से सिर्फ एक आदमी ईमेल पढ़ने वाला है. अगर मेरे पास 5 लाख है तो फिर कुछ पॉइंट बनता है. अगर 500 में से मैं ईमेल करके बैंडविड्थ डालूं, then it doesn't make sense. Once I have the database of at least 5 lakh or a lakh maybe, because when I was with Chumbak, imagine when Chumbak is not doing, so I'm not comparing the brands. All I'm trying to say is that
so that these case studies will help us to understand how the marketing works. Just so you are giving the right example. I'm just
Sagar, maybe you should take this offline now. Just moving on to something more interesting. And thanks for your questions. Some of you might not know, but Vaibhav has also had a recent TED talk. So a little bit of telling us, how did that help in his personal branding? And secondly, I attended a workshop where Vaibhav was there and he had engaged all the little kids and the mothers, and he actually ended up telling all of us that he's a great singer. So इसने 2 लाइन गाया था. So I would love अगर Vaibhav अभी 2 लाइन गा के सुनाए. Just to give you a flavor of how he engages his participants. Many ways.
So first we'll talk about the TED, and then we'll go to the singing part. So what we do is we actually travel to those tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5 cities, meet those craftsmen, try to understand what their pain points are, try to understand how much money that they are expecting from anything that is going to sell their products. and we create nice blogs out of it. So while we were doing so, Ted sort of reached out to me saying that we are actually creating livelihood for craftsmen who has been underprivileged and who has not been getting right value of the product. So when Ted reached out to us, then we started creating a good content. Once the TEDx video was live, actually I have not really posted it on LinkedIn. I have to mute someone. I will mute Nilesh. Okay. So when I posted my so the first thing what I did is I posted my TED video on my company's Instagram handle, because it is very important for my followers to see the founder's face, because that what that's what builds a trust between any brand. When you keep on seeing founder's face, when you keep on seeing that founders is actually trying to communicate, trying to establish some sort of engagement with the followers, that's when you actually increase your customers. अगर मैं historically पहले अगर मैं कुछ product का story डालता था, I used to get like 10% response. Now I get like 35-40% response. So that response ratio has increased because I've been able to communicate with my customers, with my followers through either a TED talk or a direct chat, etc. That is first. Talking about music, I think Tarun, we can take this offline. I can sing probably some other day because it's already 12:30.
No, we have time.
एक छोटी सी लाइन, वैभव एक छोटी सी लाइन हो जाए, दो तीन, just to show
Okay,
you
so
how multifaceted you are and your ways of reaching out, so
okay.
everything works.
Sure. So I'll sing the song, which is so I had a band, and Mayuresh Kemkar, and we have been band members since last 13 years. So we used to deal with Indian folk music, giving it a little ethnic touch. So we created a song called Karwa. So whenever we take our workshop, either I sing this song or because थोड़ा सा अपना promotion भी हो जाता है, or some other song. But today also I'm going to sing the same song. 10 years back, my voice was really great. मेरे सारे सुर लगते थे, लेकिन down the line 10 years I've not been doing any रियाज, तो अभी मेरे सुर लगते नहीं है. But it's okay. I think the attempt is important than the actual output. So here is the song for you. राहें भी कैसी चल पड़ी, ना रुका है कोई रास्ता, है इस दिल में ख्वाब कई, है इस दिल में ख्वाब कई, चल पड़ा कोई कारवां, धूम धूम दरना दर दर धूम धूम दरना, धूम धूम दरना दर दाए दाने दसा, धूम धूम दरना दर दर धूम धूम दरना, धूम धूम दरना दर दर दारे दाने दरना. Thank you guys.
So awesome.
Very nice.
Thank you so much. I think whoever have questions, you have my email ID, or I'll just share my email ID, phone number. We can talk. I will also want to learn things from you, things that worked out for you, things that did not work out for you. Like I said, US workshops did not work out for me. So let's connect over WhatsApp, LinkedIn. Let's keep on sharing things. And yes, we have some really nice workshops coming up this week or next week also. I'll keep you posted with the upcoming workshops. The workshops are really fun, and the price is also $399. You all don't get any discounts, but I will make sure that at the end of the workshop, you'll be having a very nice happiness quotient. It will be a stress buster for you, and you'll be end up making something really nice, funny, and quirky. Thank you, guys.
Yes, and Vaibhav, you must hold this kind of discussions more frequently.
Yes, I think Tarun, we should actually hold such discussions frequently, because this is a very nice ideating session.
Even for a lesser time, like if people are like busy with other things, but you must do this.
Tarun, you're on mute. Let me unmute you. Yeah, Tarun.
Mayuresh, provided your band will perform in one of those sessions, then we will.
Yeah, I will definitely.
Then we will host.
My idea.
Yeah. And Mayuresh, just maybe you and I can get in touch as well. मेरे को क्या लग रहा है कि the venue that you have is going to be your strength. And I'm sure that once the blending for your business, basically you figure it out. It's actually going to be awesome because then it'll be a healthy mix of people who are sort of in and out. And so your audience plus because of this coronavirus is going to expand beyond Pune. Right now, आप offline में थे तो खाली पुणे के लोग आते थे. So it's just going to be magical. It's going to be, they're going to help each other.
Yes, right. Perfectly. Yes, thanks.
Great overall. So just to conclude what we have got here, a beautiful session from Weber. Definitely the singing part was amazing. And we have a proper guideline here on how we should be arranging the events and try and monetize the events. It will definitely lead us to a plan. And who could better than be than Vaibhav, who says it's criminal to not to have a plan. So rightly coming from him and the guidelines that have been based out for us, we have to just follow the guidelines and see what good we could make out of it. So it was an immense pleasure, Vaibhav, to host you on this event, and thank you for giving us all the time of your schedule. And we are really grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I hope you had a great time. If you have any topics to discuss, just give a shout out and we'll definitely discuss.
Guys, a small shout out to Sagar, who's sorry, Dipti. Carry on.
I said looking forward to more sessions.
Yeah. And a small shout out to Sagar, who's going to be holding one of our sessions as the lead. He's doing a lot of research, like I said at the beginning, on looking into the future. So he's going to be the man who's going to show us how the future is going to be like. So I would also encourage some of you who have heard Sagar today, his thoughts, and he's been very enthusiastic with trying to figure out what is the right platform, and that's why Weber, the questions that he posed were very pertinent to today's session.
Absolutely.
So let's hear from him as to ये सब सुनने के बाद उसका क्या conclusion है, which we will bring up in another workshop. So
absolutely, Tarun. Looking forward to that session as well.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, Vaibhav.
For those who have joined late or were not able to have a continued session here with